Good morning, grade 7. I am your teacher and in science once again. So for this week, we have the topic graphical representation of motion in one dimension. So I hope everyone find yourself well, but a little bit to learn for this week. So let's offer a short prayer, personal short prayer for us before we proceed. Okay? Amen. So, Miss Secretary, please report to me the attendance for today. Okay? Let's proceed to our topic. So, our learning competencies this week to create and interpret visual representation of the motion of objects such as tape charts and motion graphs. So our learning objectives at the end of the lesson, you should be able to, one, use representations to explain and analyze motion. Two, state the relationship of distance time graphs, speed time graphs, and velocity time graphs. Third, to conduct a forum on mitigation and disaster risk reduction. So I hope all of you are ready because I'm ready to start the lesson. Okay, so may we have a short activity looking back, entitled Looking Back. So the direction of this activity to for you to study the picture that will be given and identify the motion illustrated. Choose your answer from the given options. First picture, see a car in highway. Okay, so before I forgot, you should be able to bring out your self-learning module, your pen, and your paper for you to follow the lesson throughout until the end of it. Okay, so first item, this car in a highway. So what do you think is the motion that it depicts? Okay, so there are three choices: linear motion, curvilinear motion, or rotational circular motion. So what is your answer? Very good. If your answer is linear motion, you are correct. Let's proceed. What about this one? Can you see the arrow in here? Arrow in the line here. So what motion does the picture depicts? Is it linear, curvilinear, or rotational motion? What is your answer? Come again. It is curvilinear motion. You got it. Next, this item is easy. So from the picture alone, you could see what it is. What is your answer? Correct. Rotational circular motion. I hope you enjoy the activity. So let's proceed to the topic. We're going to learn more on the how graphing motion is and what is graphing motion. Okay, so there are a lot and types of graphs, and we all know that graphs are very useful means of presenting information and making it easily understood. It demonstrates trends, patterns, and relationship between sets of data. People find it easy to understand information through the use of graphs and charts. And as I say, graphs and charts are of different types. So, mas naman kasi natin talaga, for me personally, to interpret a picture na nakikita mo other than on words na data. So, yung words na data, kailangan mo ba siyang basahin throughout para maintindihan mo. While in the picture alone, as long as the labels are there and correct and there's a legend na nagsasabing what does the green represents or the blue or the orange represents, you already know what is the picture talking. So makikita natin kung, for example, orange represent this one, the enrollment of girls in it, while the blue one is the enrollment for boys, something like that. So makikita mo yung comparison ng dalawa. The higher the enrollment for girls, while shorter naman sa boys kasi maliit lang yung graph ng boys dun sa girls. So from the picture alone, you could interpret data. So let's proceed. There are different types of graphs, and I will present to you types of graph, but as I say, we will be focusing on line graph, okay? So pie graph shows values of variables, and it is basically circle divided into segment to show proportion. So, nabivisualize niyo ba yung pie graph? So, para siyang take a look at the picture, para din siyang yung pizza na may slices. Pero the slices, it depends on your data. Bakit ang laki nito? So maybe this one is for your savings, this one is for your expenses, this one is for your needs, this one is for your allowance, and this one is for emergency fund. Parang ganun, okay? Let's proceed. Pictographs or pictograms. So pictographs show data using pictures as symbol, like this one, food pyramid, the go, glow, and grow, okay? Next is bar graph. Medyo common din ito. Show the comparison of data using rectangular bar. Somewhat like this, okay? Next, our main focus graphs is the line graph. Very good. So, it is used to display the comparison between two variables which are plotted on the horizontal and vertical line of a grid. It is uses line to connect individual data points. So example is like this one. You could see the x-axis and the y-axis, and here are the plotted points or plotted data. Okay. So it uses line to connect individual data points, somewhat like this, okay? So the horizontal axis is called the x-axis. So ano ba yung sinabi ko? This is the x-axis. Just to review what I said, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. So here is the starting point, 0, 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until infinity. Okay. Another, this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until infinity, until the data ends. Okay. So in the horizontal axis, is called the x-axis. The x-axis usually represents measures of time, and the independent variable is plotted along this axis. While the vertical axis is called y-axis, and the y-axis usually represents percentage or measures of quantity, and dependent variables is plotted in this axis. The x and y axis cross or intersect at a point which is called origin. So saan ba nag-uumpisa yung graph? 'Di ba sa 0? So parehas naman sila na 0 yung starting point. Yun ang tinatawag na origin. Kung saan sila nag-meet or nag-intersect yung two line. Okay? Here. So let's just recap. So the horizontal line, this one, the horizontal line represent measures of time. So you should be able to identify the labels of the graph before you proceed to answer the questions para hindi ka malito kung ano ba yung sinasagutan mo. Is it question for speed, velocity, or acceleration? So from the x-axis, usually the time is there and it is independent variable. Pag sinabi natin independent variable, the variable stands alone. So hindi mo siya pwedeng galawin. Like the time. Time is running and you can never stop time from running. Okay? So while in the vertical axis, vertical, yung patayo, it represents measures of quantity and dependent variable. So dependent variable, it needs someone and it is controllable. Dependent. It does not stand alone. Dependent. Parang kayo. Dependent kayo sa pamilya nyo. So you order for you to survive. That is dependent variable. So, ito yun. Ito yung point of origin. Point of origin is 0, 0. Kung makikita nyo, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1. This line here in pink is the x-axis, yung patayo, pahiga. While in the y-axis, this one, yung patayo. Okay? So here, in the green circle, this is the point of origin, 0, 0. While in the red one is the x-axis, blue one is the y-axis, and this is the line data connected. So, depende yung data mo kung anong mukha ng line doon sa loob. So, let's proceed. Distance time graph. So, distance time graph, sa baba, it will be the time, and yung isa yung patayo, that is the distance. So, you're going to plot the time here and distance here. Paano mo malalaman if the data is distance? Kung may meter siya, kilometer, mile, mga ganon. What about time? Time can be seconds, hours, minutes, okay? So, what is distance time graph? So, distance time graph, it determines the change in the position of the object. So, we're looking at the position, the change in position of the, I repeat, pag ginamit ang distance time graph, we're looking at the change in the position of the object. So time is always plotted on the x-axis, The further the right on the axis, the longer the time from the start. The distance is plotted on the y-axis, and the higher up the graph, the further from the start. So, 0, pag ganon, from 0 until kung saan man siya nag-stop. For example, here. So, ano tawag nito? Mahaba yung time na tinakbo ng object. For example naman dito, so until here, malayo yung narating ng object. Nagets po ba? Okay. So I hope nakuha natin the longer, the higher the number in time, the higher the time it takes for the object to travel. Same goes in the distance, okay? Let's proceed. So let's examine this picture. While the time is increasing, hindi naman siya. The time is increasing, obviously, yes. But the distance remains the same. So the object, para naman siyang hindi nagbago, no? I mean, hindi siya talaga nagbago. Kasi hindi naman, yung distance niya remains the same lang. So ano bang ginagawa? Hindi yun nagbago. Maybe the object is not, what do you think? Maybe the object is not running, right? Or we call it here at rest. So, baka nasa parking lot pa to. Okay, so time is increasing to the right, but its distance does not change. Ito yung sinasabi ko. It is not moving, yes, and we say it is at rest. So, pag sa horizontal, I mean, pag sa distance time graph, nakakita ka ng horizontal line, meaning the object is not moving. So, please take note of that. What about this one? From the point of origin, while the distance or the speed of the object is moving at a constant speed. So, hindi naman paliko-liko yung line. Straight line naman siya. So, nag-visualize natin from the straight line na constant ito. Right? Constant na nag-move yung object. Okay, so time is increasing to the right, yes, and the distance increasing, yes, constantly with time. So the object moves at a constant speed. Yan yung sinasabi ko kanina. Constant speed is shown by straight lines on graph. Kanina, so back natin. Constant siya. Constant na at rest. Hindi nagbabago. Constant. While distance time graph, dito sa next graph natin, it says that time is increasing to the right and the distance is increasing constantly with time. So, hindi siya maybe the same speed throughout. The object moves at constant speed. So, same yung speed from start to finish. So this one, there is these two objects. The object one represents the dashed line while the other one is the solid line. So kung makikita nyo, mas nauna, they reach the same distance, right? You could see that in here. Oh, take a look. Kahit wala tayong ruler, makikita mo, parehas sila kung saan sila nag-stop. Pero yung time, hindi sila parehas natapos. But they are having the same or constant speed. Naintindihan po ba? Yung speed nito, constant. Hindi naman siya nagbaliko-baliko or somewhat like iba yung image ng straight line. Pero ito makikita mo, constant speed silang pareho. Kaya lang, maybe this one is mas mataas yung speed niya from start, pero constant compared to this one, okay? So, steeper line indicates a larger distance in a given time. That is what I'm saying. In other words, higher speed. Both lines are straight, so both speeds are constant. Yan ang explain ko. Sana naintindihan nyo. Okay? So, please take note of that. Oh, ito naman, next graph. Ito yung sinasabi ko, baliko siya, no? So, there is curved line. So, yung curved line, ano yung na-represent nito? So, while the time is increasing, the object moves, maybe here, slow, tapos nag-increase siya. So, there is somewhat like speeding up the object, speeding up. So, the line on this graph is curving upwards, pataas. This shows an increase in speed. Oh, speeding high. Since the line is getting steeper here, in other words, in a given time, the distance the object moves is changed, getting larger. So, nagsispeeding up yung object. It is accelerating. Right. So, we have an example here, the distance time graph example. So, this is the data table. We have distance in meter, time in seconds. So, we have 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 80, 100 seconds. And the distance is 0, 10, 10, 40, 20. So we have the table here, the line graph. We have 0 meters, 0 seconds here, here, and points here also and here. So first question, when is the distance of the car at 40 meters? 40 meters, here is the 40 meters. So when? That is sa baba, 60 seconds, right? If you got it right, good job. Number 2, what is the distance covered by the car at 60 seconds? So here is the 60 seconds. So what is the distance? We're asking the distance. So here, 40 meters. Ganun po yung paano mag-calculate ng depende po sa tanong. Okay. So when it's asking the time. So what is the distance? So distance, ito yung distance. So kailangan mo lang tignan yung 60 seconds. Oh, wala naman nag-pass through na line dito. Hanggang dito naman yung line. So that is the correct answer, 40 meters. Bakit naging 40? Kasi 40 doon. Oh, ganon. Nagets po ba? Sana po nagets, no? Let's proceed. When is the object at rest? So we're asking and we're looking for horizontal line. Okay, horizontal line, this is the horizontal line. So when we're asking of the time, so between the 20 seconds to 40 seconds. Number 4, what is the speed of the car at 20 seconds? Speed. So we're asked to calculate the speed of the car. So please remember that speed is equal to distance over time. So 10 divided by 20, that is 0.5 meter per second. Kaya merong 0.5 meter per second dito. Parang naghahanap kayo ng, wala naman 0.5 dito, ma'am. Wala naman naka-indicate. It says here, what is the speed? So it's asking for us to calculate the speed, right? Sana naintindihan. Remember, speed is equal to distance over time. So 10 divided by 20, that is 0.5 meter per second. Next, what is its speed after 10 seconds? So 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, nandito na yung point. 100 seconds. So, ano yung distance niya? Dito, 0. 0 over 100, that is 0 meter per second. So, we were asked to calculate the speed again after 100 seconds. Remember, ito lang naman yung katapat niya. Batog. Batog tay 100 point. The point of after 100 seconds is 0 meter per second. Okay? So let's have the summary for the distance time graph. A distance time graph tells us how far an object has moved with time. The stiffer the graph, the faster the motion. A horizontal line means the object is not changing its position. It is not moving, it is at rest. A downward sloping line. Ano ba yung sloping line na downward? Ito yung mukha ng downward sloping line. Yan means the object is returning to start. So, we move to speed time graph. Ano ba yung difference? Ano ba yung hinahanap ng speed time graph? So, please remember, speed is the measurement of distance traveled over a period of time. When we say velocity, the rate of displacement of moving object over time. So, displacement over time. Medyo magkaparehas sila sa speed, but it's not. It's different. Distance is different from displacement. You already know that in the week 1 and 2. Acceleration, the rate of velocity change over time. So, rate of velocity change over time. Doon naman sa acceleration. So, speed time graph, we are looking how the object move, kung nag-move ba siya or hindi. For example, this one, it is constant. So, maybe fast, steady speed. From here, constant speed. Fast siya kasi medyo stiffer. So, ito naman, constant speed. Here, stationary or at rest. Returning to start. Okay, so, yung curve line getting faster. So, speed time graph, it is used to determine whether or not the object is moving at any point in time and to see what speed the object is traveling at that point in time. So, the speed time, we are looking at the object, if it's moving or not, and how and what is the speed of the object while traveling over time. So in here, while the time is increasing, the speed remains the same. So we are talking about speed. Excuse me. So we're talking about speed. We're not talking about distance. Kaya pwede nating sabihin, it is at rest if it is distance time graph. But this is speed time graph. And this is horizontal line. So we could say that while the time is increasing, the speed remains, right? So time is plotted on the x-axis. Speed or velocity is plotted on the y-axis. A straight horizontal line on the speed time graph means the speed is constant, right? Oh, diba? Remains the same, constant. It is not changing over time. A straight line does not mean the object is not moving. Yan yung sinasabi ko. So for you to be able to know what is being asked, you should always remember to read the labels. Baka naman speed ito or distance, hindi mo na alam yung isasagot mo. Okay? So, what about this one? Well, the time is increasing, the speed is increasing. Totoo ba? Alright. Tama ako. This graph shows increasing speed. Nag-umpisa siya sa mababa hanggang tumaas. So, the moving object is accelerating. Ito naman. So, two object, the dashed line and the solid line. So, sino sa tingin niyo yung mas pareho silang nag-increase ng speed. Pero yung, sabi ko nga kanina, dun sa distance time graph, mas nauna siyang natapos kesa dito. They have the same constant speed. I mean, increasing speed. It's not constant. So both the dash and the solid line shows increasing speed. Yes. Increasing speed kasi straight line, shows a straight line. So both lines reach the same top speed, but solid one takes longer. Sinasabi ko. The dashed line shows greater acceleration. Magkakaparehas sila kung tutuusin sa speed, distance, time graph. Pero iba lang yung hinahanap. Either distance, speed, velocity. So, talagang malilito kayo. But you need to really know what is the variable in here, in the y-axis, and this remains time. Time versus velocity. So, you could see a straight line here. So, we can say that it is constant or uniform acceleration, no change in speed. Constant lang siya. Constant acceleration. So when we see velocity here, we are talking about what? Acceleration of the object. Okay. This one, you could see a different line. So, ano yung masasabi niyo dito sa graph na to? So you could see that it is not constant or non-uniform acceleration, non-constant acceleration. What about this one? Constant? Nasabi na natin to kanina. So let's go back. Ito yun, constant uniform acceleration or no change in speed. So ito, no change in speed, constant acceleration. If the direction does not change, hindi naman siya nagbago. Acceleration is said to be positive. I mean, the distance does not change. Yes, one variable. The distance does not change. Acceleration is said to be positive if the speed increases. So, constant acceleration, speed is increasing. So, this is positive acceleration. The velocity increases. Tama po ba? Naintindihan po ba? Ito naman, graph, pababa siya. So, ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nito? Decreasing in speed or acceleration. Decreasing in acceleration. So, if the direction does not change, the speed decreases, decreasing in speed, then acceleration is said to be negative acceleration. The velocity decreases. Speed decreases. It is negative acceleration. Let's go back. Pataas. So, it is positive acceleration. Ito naman, pababa. Papunta na siya sa negative. So, it is negative acceleration. Velocity remains the same. So, we say that there is no acceleration or zero acceleration. If the direction does not change and there is no change in speed, that is what I'm saying, then acceleration is said to be zero. Zero acceleration, velocity does not change. So example for velocity time graph, example 1. At which interval is the velocity zero? We were asked to at which time interval. So we were asked for the time here. So, saan yung zero velocity? So here, from 0 seconds and 10 seconds. Hindi naman 0 seconds to 100 seconds kasi hindi naman flat line yan. So may curvy, kaya 0 seconds and 100 seconds only. Number 2, at which time interval is the velocity increasing? This is downward sloping. This is horizontal sloping line. This is downward sloping line. This is upward sloping line. So, the answer of velocity increasing is here, between 0 seconds to 20 seconds. Number 3, at which time interval is the velocity decreasing? Downward sloping line. Ito yun. Tsaka ito. Kaya, between 20 seconds to 40 seconds and 80 to 100 seconds. Fourth, when is the acceleration between 40? When is the acceleration zero? Zero pala. So, it is in here between the flat line, 40 seconds to 80 seconds. And number 5, when is the acceleration positive? Ano ba yung positive? Siyempre, kanina yung pataas, upward. So, this is the acceleration positive between 0 seconds to 20 seconds. So, I hope nakakasunod po tayo. So, summary for the speed, time, velocity, time graph. Speed, time, velocity, time graph shows us how the speed of an object changes over time. The steeper the graph, the greater acceleration. A horizontal line means the object is moving at a constant speed. A downward sloping line means the object is slowing down. So remember, a horizontal line on a speed time graph represents a constant speed. A sloping line on a speed time graph represents an acceleration. The sloping line shows that the speed of the object is changing. The object is either speeding up or slowing down. The steeper the slope of the line, the greater the acceleration. If the line slopes down from left to right on the graph, this means that the object is slowing down. This motion is sometimes referred to as deceleration. However, remember that a deceleration is really just a special kind of acceleration. It is an acceleration where the speed of the object is decreasing with time. So please take note of that. Let's proceed to an activity called plot twist. Direction: plot each point on the graph paper and answer the questions that follow. So we have here the data table and graphing paper. But did you know that I found a graphing paper online? So gagawa tayo ng line graph via online. So please take note of this one and access. So let's access this one. Wait. Balik tayo. New share tayo ng this one. Share. Okay. Wait. Okay. So we're here at Kids Zones, learning with NCES. So click here to align graph. So let's say the title is but please. X-axis is time and distance. So the points in here, point natin dyan, 0 sa time, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 to 100. X-axis, 0, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. Sa y-axis naman, 0, 100, 50, 50, 400. So 0, 100, 200, 50, 50, 400. Okay, so let's create the line graph. So, ganito yung magiging mukha ng line graph nyo. Okay? Let's proceed. Saan tayo? Share. Wait lang po. Saan na? Ito pala. Okay. So, let's proceed. Nakita nyo na yung time graph. Line graph. So, first, calculate the speed of the object after 40 seconds. So, the answer is after 40 seconds. So, after 40 seconds, 200 speed. Speed yung hinahanap natin. So, speed is equal to distance over time. 200 over 40. That is, ilan? Calculate. Calculate 200 over 40. That is 5 meter per second. So, what is the distance after 20 seconds? Balik tayo. After 20 seconds, the distance is 100 meter. So, what is the speed of object after 100 seconds? So, ilan daw? Yung speed after the object is 100 seconds. So, 100 seconds, 40, i-calculate na naman natin. 400 over 100. That is 4 meters. Fourth, how will you describe the motion of the object between 40 seconds? So, between 40 seconds, balik tayo sa graph. Between 40 seconds and 60 seconds, that is downward sloping line. So, it means the object is slowing down, right? And the fifth question, what can you describe in the line between seconds to 80 seconds? That is horizontal line, and it is what? The object is at the rest. Okay? Let's continue. So, assessment. Please click or access the link below. Okay? So, new share tayo. Let's access this one. Okay. Access nyo yung link. Ganito yung lalabas. You just click the test. So, test tayo. Click the test and you will proceed to the test. Maganda tong Quizlet. Pwede kayong mag-review dito. Before the exam, there is a match type. Marami siyang activity actually. So, test motion in 1 dimension for grade 7. So, first question, the speed and the direction of a moving object. Ang term ba na ito ay velocity? Is it true? Speed and the direction of a moving object. Ewan ko. Diba? Marami siyang pagpipili. But please, I'm just clicking anything. Baka naman gayahin nyo. Hindi po. Huwag po tayong mangungopia. Hindi ko po alam. So, next. Sumasagot lang ako, but this is your assessment test nga po for this lesson. Kaya you need to do and access it on your own and answer it honestly, please. Okay. So, at the end of the test, makikita niyo po yung results and the time you took the test. At pwede niyong i-retest yung miss item nyo. So, let's go back. Hope na makuha nyo lahat yung item test. So, I will monitor your result afterwards. So, please access the link, ha? And then I will monitor your results. So, in your performance test, there is two situations, situation A, situation B. Situation A is already posted in your modules. So, situation A, road accidents pose a serious problem. A big number of road accidents recorded in different areas of our province every day due to varied reasons. Imagine that you are a volunteer from the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and you are to report to Ilocos Norte National High School. Draw a roadmap on how you will safely arrive at school from your house without being hit by a car or without experiencing road accident. Situation B, road accident pose a serious problem. A big number of road accidents are recorded in different areas of our province every day. Imagine that you are a volunteer from the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council and you are to assist the nurses and doctors to Ilocos Norte National High School to campaign COVID-19 vaccination roll. So draw a roadmap on how you and the medical team will safely arrive at Ames without being hit by a car or without experiencing road accidents. So we all know that vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine really helps us to it lessen the worst scenario of having a COVID-19 virus in our body, okay? So I, as a teacher, also receive vaccination. So I encourage you, students, to have your vaccination also. So the goal is for you to make a roadmap depending on the situation you choose, situation A or situation B. So the product choice is you need to have the roadmap. So 300 meters is equivalent to 1 meter. Excuse me. 60 seconds is equivalent to, I'm sorry, 1 second. So the analytic rubric, ay, ano ba yan? The analytic rubric is already presented or indicated in your module. So please take a look at that. The criteria involves map elements, physical features, or the content and the visual appeal. And I have here situation B. So this is a roadmap of hospitals na kung saan pwedeng manggaling yung mga doctors to go to our school. Okay? So, Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy our lesson for today. May the good God, Lord, help you in answering, and sana may natutunan kayo in our lesson. So hopefully you enjoy. Happy listening. Goodbye.